Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today it's all about Kim Volkman, Australian musician, primarily based in Melbourne in St Kilda, but has been around for quite a while. So he's actually been involved in the music industry for about 40 years or more, playing in many bands such as the Critics, Ian Ryland and the Love Addicts, Balaclava Joe, the Severals, Skindiver, Mary Hillbillies, who toured the UK and Scotland in 2006, the Mighty X, Dacios, Patron Saints, and his current band is actually Kim Volkman and the Whiskey Priests. And he's also working with a bluesy outfit called Shake. Yeah, welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah.
Glad to be doing it.
Awesome. So, Kim, my first question is, so tell me a little bit about the band you're currently in, and and maybe any bands that you played in the past that you were excited about.
Yep, sure. My current band, although we've probably been going for about 17 years or so now, is Kim Volkman and the Whiskey Priests.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a bit of a mouthful to get through, but we've released about about three or four. We've got 3 or 4 releases. The last 2 have been on vinyl, and it's I'm kind of out front singing and playing guitar and playing my songs basically.
Excellent. All originals.
All originals, although I will throw in 1 or 2 covers of a particular favourite at the time,
Excellent, good to hear. And are you mostly playing in Melbourne, Sydney, interstate? Where do you mostly play?
Oh, look, I'm one of those lazy kind of musicians. I rarely step out of St Kilda.
No, fair
my
enough.
hometown. I have ventured to Sydney. I went up for an album launch about 5 years ago now.
Yep.
Played at the fantastic Marrickville Bolo.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
Got my own blues band as well down here for a bit of fun on the side, playing blues stuff, and also play bass in a band called Shake with we've got a wonderful female singer, Charlie Barker, and
great.
have a bit of fun. Every now and again I get called back into the fold to play bass for that wonderful band X.
Yeah, Steve Lucas X.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the previous bands that you were in. I know that you also worked with Ian Ryland, the amazing Ian Ryland, in the Love Cats.
The Love Addicts.
Oh, Love Addicts. Sorry, why did I say Love Cats? Love Addicts.
Love Cats would have worked just as fine too.
And you played at the Excelsior, didn't you?
We did, yes.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, look, I've so many fond memories of playing there, and it was like our second home, really, because Ian was living in Sydney at the time, but then he moved to Melbourne, so we were kind of, up and down, and we had a fabulous place in Melbourne that we played at, which was the Greyhound Hotel, and that to us was almost like the sister hotel to the Excelsior, but the Excelsior was just fantastic, and we'd have residencies there, so I'd jump on the old Firefly bus and take the trek up from Melbourne and stay for like 3 weeks.
Fantastic.
Above the Excelsior, actually. I'd stay up there, which was a little bit of a lonely existence, I must say, sometimes. But
very handy.
But very, very handy, Julia. Yeah.
Now, when Ian Ryland sadly passed away in 2006, Kim was asked by Steve Lucas and Cathy Green to play bass for X, and that was for shows as well that coincided with the album reissues, X Aspirations in particular. Now, Kim played at Peter Wells' benefit concert in 2006 with the Love Addicts, and he also paid tribute to Lobby Lloyd at his benefit as well. And shortly afterwards too, Kim found himself at Ian Ryland's benefit concert with his band, the Whiskey Priests. So I wanted to mention a rest in peace to those amazing musicians. Now, there also was a great reflective statement by Steve Lucas that he provided me. about Ian Ryland. He said that Ian was a prime mover and that some people have their finger on the pulse, but Ian was the pulse. He called him the best bass player that he's ever played with. His sense of dynamics and melody, along with his sheer physical prowess, is a combination you don't come across very often. And their songwriting relationship was something that Steve knows he'll never experience again. Ian's spontaneity was a fantastic springboard for ideas, and Steve misses that more than most people will ever know. And I do know that Kim also was great friends with Ian, so yeah, lots of fabulous praise for Ian Ryland. Rest in peace. The amazing late Sue Telfer, who sadly passed in 2019, I think it was.
2019, yes.
Yeah. I know that I've read so much good about Sue, and the Excelsior was very, very successful because people like Sue, obviously, cared deeply, not just about, the musicians and the venues, but just the whole culture. I don't know. What do you think Sue may have kind of contributed to the Excelsior that maybe other, people in Sydney or Melbourne didn't with their venues?
Well, look, I would say, Joya, straight off the bat, Sue, as opposed to a lot of other people, Sue was just, had first off a deep, deep love of music and the people that performed music and the people that went to see music.
Yeah.
And she was very much hands-on, whereas you got a lot of people may, book an act and like, there you go, and they stay home and sit on their couch, watching television. That wasn't Sue. She was there and she was at every gig, before, during and after, and she was just an absolute delight to hang out with and just very much hands-on.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
To the point where, sadly, when she passed, it really, well, for me, and I speak for a lot of people, it really kind of, it made going up to Sydney, feel like something was definitely missing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was her. And there was a huge benefit for her at the Factory.
Oh, yeah.
And, X performed, Kim Salmon, the Cruel Sea, who hadn't played in years up at that point.
Yeah.
And, it was just, and, the room was just full and the love that was there for her.
I did read of other benefits that were there, like the Trade Union Club sort of reunion revival thing, and also I think the Excelsior was one of the last venues that kind of still operated, when various other places shut down, like the Hope Town and just other places were closing. And then after the Excelsior was sold in 2011, I think I noticed there was movement over to the Marrickville side of Sydney. So you're from Melbourne, and I've got to ask the question because there is that Sydney-Melbourne rivalry. Feel that sometimes I've read that Melbourne is the sort of king capital of live music in Australia.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
Look, I do know it does have that title.
Yeah.
And, from having played music, I think I'm in about my 46th year of playing music.
Yeah.
And, I've seen and I've been part of the glory days and I've seen the decline. I still like to think it's healthy, but it's a tricky one to pull people away from their giant television sets. Or,
absolutely.
Or, hey, look, I can just look at how last night went on my phone.
Do you think that the music scene in 2025, shortly, is high on people's options now for entertainment because there's so many choices,
You're exactly right, Joya. Look, I don't want to be a pessimist, I don't, but sometimes I do take a step back and think, am I going to continue for another, am I, lugging amps and, just trying to, coach people to come out, you know, and it's always a risk, you know, because a lot goes into putting on shows and your rehearsals,
Absolutely,
and all that, and if the turnout doesn't really kind of weigh up against, you know, the amount of effort you put in, you do start to question whether it's a viable thing. And, you know, look, I having said that, I mean, I still think that there's always hope, and there's a lot of, you know, young and up-and-coming bands and, you know, young people discovering, you know, the music that we all liked, or, you know, the music that's around now, and instruments, so, you know, and getting out there and having a go. I still think, you know, I'm not going to be a total pessimist about this. I still think it's okay. But, you know, for blokes like me, getting a little bit old in the tooth, I don't know. But I'm still going to give it a red hot crack.
Yeah, absolutely. And even, I think with me, I know this sounds a bit harsh, but I've always got this thrill versus effort in my head when I want to go out. It's like, oh, okay, will the thrill match the effort, or you know what I mean? Like,
oh, Joy, look, I understand that. And look, that just, it reminds me of a story. I remember residency that we, Ian Ryland and the Love Addicts, had at the Excelsior, and it would kick off every Sunday at 5 p.m. and I think this might have been the first one. And you know, anticipation was running riot. You know, it was a full room of people waiting for us to come on, and the drummer was very excited because he just bought this brand new yellow drum kit that he was very proud of. And you know, Ian's nowhere to be found. There is no Ian. We have to go on in 15 minutes. There's a room full of people who think, where is Ian Ryland? And then someone walks in and says, he's at the bar. He's at the Darlow bar. You know, right? So Ted Tame sent two of his barmaids in a van.
And Ted's a publican.
Yeah, Ted the publican, Ted Tome. So, you know, they drive to the Darlow or the Darlinghurst Hotel, you know, collar Ian and throw him in the van, bring him to the gig, and, you know, and he gets there and someone in their wisdom decided to throw an ecstasy tablet down his throat, didn't they? And so he just went into full-on regressed to where he thought he was in Germany, because he went on tour with the B Suburban maybe 10 or 12 years previously, and he was having flashbacks that he was in Germany, and this was the start of the gig. And so we start playing and all rules went out the window. He just 1, 2, 3, 4, and everything, the whole 2-hour set was just made up on the spot.
Oh, goodness.
And it was just total chaos. But the next day, Ted Tame got about, you know, 20 or 30 phone calls from people saying that was the best rock and roll gig they had ever seen in their lives.
Oh, that's awesome! What a how exciting!
You know, and you know those were the days. I guess they say. You know, really a lot of fun, and I really miss Ian a lot. You know, it's 19 years now that he's been gone. And,
2006, wasn't it?
That's exactly right. Yeah. But boy, that was a fun-filled 6 years that, you know, I had. Yeah.
That's and I know I've read lots of stories where he sounds like he was quite a character.
Oh, most definitely.
Lots of stories out there.
A real charmer, a real devil. A combination of both.
That's good to hear, and I think it's important to kind of, you know, tell these tales sometimes where they can sometimes get lost. If you don't talk about them or if you don't hear them. And I know there's a lot of podcasts that people can listen to, and, you know, it's why I enjoy doing what I'm doing lately, because I'm talking to people, you know, that were in the industry that have all these stories that, and, you know, there's no doubt Kim has a gift, a true talent with his music, and especially his guitar. And indeed, there has been praise from some musical giants such as Ian Moss, who said he'd lift a few riffs from this guy. Lobby Lloyd, he called him a genius and described his music as ball-tearing blues and punk-injected rock and roll with heart. Now, in collaboration with Pauline Bailey, he's also released this great autobiography. I will show you some books. It kind of details his experiences in the music industry, as well as, some personal struggles here and there. And there is just interesting stories, fabulous photos, and there's even one of Jimmy Page that I'll show you. He also wrote a collection of short stories called For Those That Dance with a Skeleton. So be sure to check out my description, and I'll put all the links to where you can buy not only his albums but his books as well. So with regards to the book, there's some excellent pictures here. You can sort of see he's included venues like the Crystal Ballroom. So you can see some of those pictures there. Over here, you've got, pictures of his family, just a really young Kim with his guitars. I wonder if he's still got some of them. This one is the Espy front bar, so there's some fantastic shots. The Greyhound venue, I think Joe Galtieri might have opened that. Oh, no, he didn't. No, that was the venue, sorry. I'm not sure who ran the Greyhound. There's Ian Ryland. There's a great picture of Steve and Cathy Green with Kim, so that's some, really cool shots. X, lots of photos of X. This one here is the Patron Saints with Billy from the Johnnies, I think he's from. So there's that photo with Jimmy Page. So that's really cool. So you'll have to buy the book to read all about that. And, Kim's interest in mysticism and all that. So actually, I believe you wrote a book. Is that true?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I wrote my autobiography,
Fantastic.
The Devil Won't Take Charity, and it came out in 2016.
Awesome.
And
what's it called again?
The Devil Won't Take Charity.
Okay, yep. I'll have to look that up. Awesome.
Yeah. Look, there. Copies are available through me if you want to.
Yeah, I'll look that up. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because I know the Excelsior eventually sold in 2011, and I did go and check it out. From an outsider's general sort of person living in Sydney, it looks kind of funky as a Mexican, place, and it's very social. People after work, having drinks, and it's very colourful. However, for those that knew it as a very interesting, exciting live music venue, it must be sad to see it like that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, the playing there, and then the gig would finish, and it would just be a lock-in, and just the party would continue, and it was just like I said, a second home, for Melbourne. I really loved that venue, and there's not too many venues I can say that, I love, but that was definitely up there with the Greyhound. And equally the Greyhound, I hate to say it, but that's a vacant lot now.
I wanted to ask you about that, because that's probably a venue that I need to go to and check out, because I've heard a lot about the Greyhound actually.
Yeah. It was incredible. I mean, one part was a kind of they had the drag section, and then the front was the rock and rollers, the scuzzy rock and rollers, and we all cohabited, like really well, and it was just a wonderful place, and and they pulled it down in there. Let's just pull it, an Art Deco hotel, mind you. Let's pull this down and put up apartments. And well, hey, they didn't even put the apartments up. It's just a vacant lot, and that's very, very sad.
It is, and I know that a massive venue here in Sydney, or in Sydney, called Selena's, and that's recently. Up for, destruction now, and they're turning that into apartments. And that was a massive cultural kind of icon here in Sydney that, you just don't understand it. It's clearly all about money and business, and
exactly right.
The historical kind of relevance seems to get lost or dismissed, you know.
Yeah, exactly right, Joya.
Yeah, but anyway, so no, that's been a fabulous chat. Thanks so much, Kim, for coming on. It's been awesome talking to you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, Joya.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Hope you enjoy the chat that I had with Kim. It was, included, or some of it was included with my Excelsior Hotel vlog. So this is the full chat. And hope you enjoy it. And remember to like and subscribe for more interesting vlogs about venues, musicians, and all things music. Cheers.